Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Community Fortress. This fortress was sent in by VitaZed on the Discord. If you would like to do the same, you can do that by joining my Discord, going to the DF Save sharing room, and uploading your save file, as others have done before. If you would like me to use it in one of these videos, leave a little description as well as a couple of screenshots, and at me and let me know that it's okay to use it in a video. This fortress is called the Sculptures of Hide Merchants, which is a really cool little name. Site government is the Vault of Destiny, good name, and the Large Canyon is the Dwarven civilization. And they state that they've been running through the playlist for a while and thought that they'd throw their own fortress into the ring, and they have a nice little write-up as well if you would like to go read that. But we're gonna dive into the fortress itself. So up here on the surface layer, you can see some massive underground farms, which I just have to throw out here and just state that they don't need to be this big and you don't need that much even for 200 dwarves. But maybe you want a very wide variety of different things for your dwarves to eat, in which case, I respect it. Now, a very nicely well-built entryway that is keeping the dwarves off of that dirty, dirty dirt. I really hate it when I see entryways. It's like, oh god, it's all dirt. I'm like, put something down, please. Have some respect for your dwarves. We have this lovely little set of roads here running off the side of the map. This little fishery down here by the actual, by little brook. And I'm not sure if this is actually a road or if this was just like from dwarves running back and forth. I really hope that that's just a dwarves running back and forth and not just a road. Now, we have this little real light road which kind of goes around. I'm not sure if it's a generated one or just one that was designed by the fortress creator here or added onto. It's a little hard to say, but we have this front door entry with some lovely statues kind of going into it. We have a little storage pile for wood and various other things. And then the main entry hall, and they use the stairways that I'm very fond of, that some people dislike, but I will deal. And then over here is a little set of beehives behind some smart fortifications. Personally, I would put what I call blast doors in front of these, where you just take a drawbridge, not unlike this one, and just kind of go funk, maybe like one or two tiles tall all the way across. That's set to raise in case of like raiders, so that your dwarves can continue to get your honey even when there's things attacking, and they don't have to worry about having stuff shot in through them. But you know, it's nice that the bees can go out and pollinate plants and do what they got to do, because bees is bees. Down here in the fortress itself, I quite like these kind of cliffside or hillside fortresses. So we've got very spindly little running rooms. If I hit Z, we can see that we have some temples, some bedrooms, a rather large tavern called the Dutiful Iron, which is a good name, although it is very much full of marble. So I personally would have called it either the Dutiful Silver or the Dutiful Marble, because that just seems more fitting, seeing as the floors are day site and everything else is marble and silver. But I digress. Down here we have our kitchens and a little dwarf with a little hat on. He looks quite happy. Here we have a little minecart route which goes down to here, which supplies a secondary tavern, which we'll have a look at in a little bit. Big fan of that. Personally, I would just have them running because I'm mean to my dwarves, I guess. And then we have a couple of musical instruments as well as various other rooms. Down here we have some dormitories. But let's move down a layer, shall we? So we move down a layer and we can see more temples. I love the kind of scattered but also like symmetrical kind of chaotic design. Separate rooms for all of the little workshops. I know some people do this out of like concern for like failing moods and whatnot. I think that's where the meta for this originally came from, having each workshop in their own individual spot. But in my experience, well, once you've got a fortress up and running, you're not really going to need to worry about having to wall off dwarves, because generally they'll just kind of have everything they need. But then down here we have a dining hall kind of for all the crafters, surrounded by booze and various other things that they need, as well as their finished crafts at the end. I do quite like the organization of this. Over here we have the Tower of Coal, which is a stoneworkers guild. And down here we have the Mechanic Guild Hall, which is also a guild, and various other guild halls. Up here in the middle we have the Foggy Raptor, which is probably my favorite design for a guild hall. One layer down, we have a bunch of empty stockpiles, which is what I like to see. Empty stockpiles means stuff's being used, and it's not just being oversupplied, as seen in certain previous forts. Down here, we have this very set of lovely, lovely, well-appointed bedrooms, complete with their own bookshelves and everything. I wonder if the dwarves actually put books in these. I don't think they do, but it's a nice aesthetic. I like it. And then down here, we have kind of the start of an actual library, or the start of an actual library. It's the upper layer of the library, as well as some office setups and stuff for people of rank in the fortress. And then in the middle here, we have the mayor's setup. I like the very the very nice hoods. I'm a big fan of hoods for dwarves. They end up looking kind of like gnomes, and they amuse me. And then down here we have some barracks. I'm assuming plans for more barracks, and whatever this is this like your trap way in? This might be the trap tunnel / defense route, which, you know, works, you know, weapon traps all the way around, and then they have to walk through the military or walk through these areas where the military can ambush them in multiple places. Very secure, I would say, for a Dwarven fortress. Then we have more bedrooms up here, spaces for them to store their weapons and whatnot. And then over here we have dwarves training with crossbow bolts, which is pretty effective. Are they actually throwing those? Can you make Marks dwarves equip bolts as a weapon? Or am I misseeing that? No, those aren't bolts. Those are maces. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I was very confused for a second. I thought they had bolts equipped as weapons. I was like, excuse me? One layer down here, you can see all the dwarves picking up the bolts. This is probably the best way you could set up crossbows, is just have like the open spaces down there. Someone has been satisfied with their position here and everything is properly royal. Well, that's great. They must dig deeper. Down here is the essentially catches the arrows or the bolts so that they don't break on the way down, which is the right way to do that. I really should do that when I actually finally get around to setting those up, once they redo the AI anyway. And then down here we have the library itself, which is huge, and I love it. I love big libraries in Dwarf Fortress, especially separate bedrooms for libraries. And then over here we have this secondary space called the Quiet Merchants, which is another tavern. I was assuming this one would be like citizens and residents only. Yeah, citizens and residents only makes sense. I also like that the tables are now made of copper as we get further down. And then down here we have an area for just harvesting up resources. And then one layer down, we've got all of these tiny little tombs. Nice little pattern for the tombs. They look quite nice. And then as we go down and as we go down and as we go down, we encounter more spaces and more stuff that's just, you know, cut out stuff in the walls. More spaces, some crafting a little bit further down. And then as we go down, there's patterns, and then there's this very interesting spot. I'm wondering if this is like the, well, you have to walk through this to get into the fort kind of thing. Let's actually see. Where does this go? Oh, I see. This goes down, down, down. Ah, okay. So you walk through this, and it forces you to get showered before you go into the caverns. I get it. So the dwarves book it through that, and they get the nice little thought bubbles as they go down. Definitely a good way of doing things. And then as we get a little further down, we work our way to this. And then we get a little further down, we work our way down to this, which is our big old hospital for anybody who gets injured in the caverns. And I think that's about as deep as things go. Let's jump down to the lowest layer. Yeah, it seems to be. So now the question is, how did you... Oh, I see. You're just the capital. I get it. You're not quite the mountain home yet. So you do have to dig deeper to become the proper mountain home. But lovely little cavern access. I like how it's all sealed off and relatively safe-ish, as safe as a cavern can be. And there's this little upway that walks into cavern access, which is, you know, signs of fighting, shall we say? Signs of fighting. Forgotten beasts and critters alike. I would do something with the Forgotten Beast bones personally, but lovely layout for a fortress, I gotta say. If you would like to see more fortresses like this or more videos from this series, I'd recommend checking out my Community Fortress playlist. There's a growing number of them in there now, and if you would like to submit a fortress yourself, once again, you can do that via my Discord. Information was at the beginning of the video. And if you would like to support me or these videos directly, you can do that via my Patreon. Patrons are on the screen right now, or you can jump over to my merch store and pick yourself up a mug or a t-shirt and support me directly that way. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.